Hi there again, this is James Craddock. I want to discuss with you real briefly the art of charitable giving, cause marketing. This is a company started by Rodney Smith, a former Nebraska football star, brief time spent in the NFL, but for the last 30 years has been building charities around various personalities for the purpose and the intent of taking that celebrity's heart, if you will, and extending it to the less fortunate. And I know we think the celebrities just, run off, spend their money, and have their fun. You'd be really surprised how down to earth and raw their emotional status is, and sometimes even more so personified by, if you will, the level of success that they have been able to achieve. And in the case of the NFL, oftentimes at a very young age. And what happens is this acute awareness of their success and their provision in life propels them to want to reach out to the potential of others who just may not have been given that same opportunity. You see, we're all a byproduct of our own story and the stories of those around us. We can never take full credit because no man is an island. And so Rodney has taken and he is able to structure the financial plan, build the 501c, put all the elements in place that, we could never do that, right? If I want to build a 501c, I'm not doing all that stuff. Rodney does all that. But then he integrates it into a bigger picture of the financial plan and leverages all the opportunities favorably that a 501c has when you're in a business or you're a celebrity or whatever the case may be, and makes it all work so that whoever's on the receiving end has the greatest privilege of interacting with this person and being charged by their story. See, story undergirds even charitable giving, because if you understand who you are and who you want to help and serve, I assure you that process, and then once properly structured through the art of charitable giving, will magically bring to you the donors necessary to fuel what it is that you are doing for whoever it is you're doing, but it will also give you a connection with the person that you're there to help that goes beyond anything that you could do outside of such a process. And it's a fulfilling process. Now, you've been through many of the different areas that we have applied story, and some of these come into play. Having your own four-dimensional story, your own 4D story, tailored after your desire for yourself or for your charity, whoever that iconic person is that you're trying to serve, can be so instrumental in funding and bringing attention and soliciting, if you will, charitable donations for your cause. We can take the entire infrastructure of story and make it serve, not only serve you in your personal empowerment, serve you in the legend you want to be, but also serve those that are out there waiting for you to reach out and touch them. And if it wasn't for Rodney and the art of charitable giving and Lucky 7 for Kids, and Lucky 7 for Kids is the charity, as you'll see at the bottom or on the page here, that charity is being sponsored by Malik Jackson of the Denver Broncos, right? When you get these guys in a room talking about this, you start to recognize that there's something bigger going on here, that there is a story that is being told, and I believe they're going to reach out to some young person through this process because they're so dialed in to who they're serving that ultimately 20, 30, 40 years from now is going to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders and bring us into a new place that we are sowing the seeds for now through these processes. Lucky 7 for Kids is a charity, and it's just one of many that Rod has set up. But this charity takes care of the families, the children, the widows, the widowers of fallen deployed and injured soldiers. It's hard to put a price on any charity, but it's personally endearing to me, being ex-military, ex-Navy, because of who it serves and why. It's serving someone who selflessly decided to serve first, to serve us and our freedoms and our liberties. But maybe your charity hits closer to home. Maybe a relative has passed away because of cancer, and you have discovered that the greatest way to heal, maybe even the greatest way to find your trajectory in life, is to align yourself with a charity, preferably in your own name, that allows you to serve and to bring it into the attention of others. Why? Because you want your story to go out there and touch others who have a similar story. It all goes back to story. And so what I would encourage you to do, if that be the case, is to connect with me. Let's figure out your story. Let's lay it out in this infrastructure. And then let's determine the best path and the most effective way for you to impact everybody around you. Everybody that touches your story. You know, when you create story behind all this, no matter what it is, again, a charity, a product, a service, a reputation, brand, whatever, what you do is you naturally filter out those that would be a weight upon you. You say, well, who would be a weight upon you? You ever heard of the 80-20 rule? 80% of your money comes from 20% of your clients, and 80% of your problems come from 20% of your clients. That riffraff. That kind of, that ratio, though it is standard, can fluctuate. It can be pushed closer to 85-15, 90-10, 95-5. And as you get closer to those kind of ratios, your success, whether it's monetary, whether it's, if you're running a charity, whether it's the number of donors you have, the number of people that show up to help you, it starts to skyrocket because that friction gets out of the way. How do they make a plane go faster? They don't put a bigger engine in it. That does nothing more than mess up the weight ratio. What they do is they start making it sleeker and getting what they call parasite drag cut down off of it, and they make it as sleek as possible. Remember the aviator? Remember? He was making sure that plane had not even a rivet pulling it down. It's the exact same concept. When we put story behind your efforts, we make it as smooth as possible, so that as you are interacting with your target audience, you're doing so without the friction that is inherently going to come with trying to figure out your message and figure out content marketing and figure out this tool and figure out blah, 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 blah. You put your story in place, you build an infrastructure using those tools to celebrate your story in a public place. And then that naturally, people gravitate towards you, and you know what they do? At that point, they contribute to your story. They don't create drag. Look, charitable giving is the coolest thing that you can do because it allows you to express what's in here. Not just out there, but to one single individual. And the power of that connection will stir you on and motivate you to build your legend, to build your story as strong as it can be. So come on in, let's have a conversation. Connect with me on this page. You can also go to connect.jamescraddock.me. You can go to jamescraddock.me. You can hit me up on xl7lx.com or 4dstory.com, whatever the case may be. And I will direct you through the story process and then put you in the capable hands in the art of charitable giving with Rod. And I promise you, the process will pay dividends that you cannot put a price on. Thanks again for listening.